Senior 8 and welcome to week 2. Our assembly this week is about how we can support our communities and getting involved in some charity work and thinking about the larger community while we're on lockdown. So why should we be thinking about charity at this time? We're all locked down, we're thinking about our families, we're thinking about ourselves and our health. But I think now, since we've been locked down for quite a while, we should start thinking about what's going on around us a little bit more, and if we can try and do things to help others. There are ways of doing that remotely. There's a lot of charity work going on at the moment. And there's something that the school is involved in now, which is the 2.6 challenge, with a lot of charities who rely on donations and large funding events not being able to complete those events. They're missing out on quite a lot of funding. So there's a lot of online charity drives going on to try and keep the UK's charity sector, which was one of the biggest charity sectors in the world, trying to keep that going. So what can we do? Well, first you can record yourself taking part in any activity relating to 2.6 or 2 and 6. There's some examples on the little pink box there. Send it to someone. So you can send it to Miss Rout at school, and we then are thinking about donating to our chosen charity. But you do not have to be donating. It's just about thinking how you can support charities remotely. Perhaps one of the best examples of recent years of someone going above and beyond to help the larger community is Captain Tom, so Thomas Moore, former British Army officer. He was approaching his 100th birthday about a week ago, and he decided to do 100 laps of his garden using his walking frame. A very old man, quite infirm at this moment, so that was quite an effort for him. And he was hoping to raise £1,000. Now, I think many of you have probably seen he ended up raising £30 million for the NHS. You might ask yourself why. Why did so many people, so 1 million people, myself included, why did people donate to this man? There are lots of other charities around. Well, I think it was probably because it's a combination of the fact that the man is a war veteran, he's 100 years old, and he really didn't need to do this. This is not something that you would expect a much older person, potentially nearing the end of his life, to put himself out there and help others in this way, when very often we think of old people as people we need to be helping. Now, he came out and he did this, and he's gained worldwide fame and worldwide praise. On the final few laps of his garden, he had a military parade for a guard of honour from his local regiment, the regiment that he himself fought with in India in the Burma campaign during the Second World War. So this man's already given a lot of his life in service to the country, and he's there doing it again. It's a pretty remarkable story. So in this age when we're shielding older people from the virus by staying in, we're doing our best to make sure that it doesn't reach people in care homes. It's always important to remember that these people were young. They were strong. And if we see pictures of Captain Thomas Moore when he was younger, he's got all the energy and vigour of anyone that you'd meet today. And this man's obviously looked backwards and seen the world struggling again, and he's done something to help us all. Now, an example of something else he's done and showing, his grace, was when he reached #1 for a duet that he sang with another famous artist, and it knocked Canadian artist The Weeknd from the #1 spot. And being very gracious himself, The Weeknd actually sent something in a tweet, and you can see it there. He's saying, "Thank you, sir." Even though he was knocked off the charts, he was happy that Captain Tom had done it, and Captain Tom responded by calling him very gracious and talented and popular, and a very kind gesture. So just shows that in a little bit of spirit of fairness and competition, that respect is still there, and that's absolutely fantastic. A really good thing to see. Well, there's a 2.6 mile walk near my house, which I've been trying to do as regularly as possible. So here's a couple of videos of me doing just that. Woo. And then the return journey.
Time to go home.
And yes, I was extremely tired. So just quickly onto the news for the year group. Just a couple of things, nothing much new really from last week, but please do make sure you're replying to your tutors' emails that were sent yesterday. It's very important, and we are tracking who is communicating with us and who isn't. Also, the new timetables should be out now, so please use them as a guide to help you complete your work on time. The new work trackers and follow-ups, I will go through that in just a moment. And again, there will be more shout-outs from Miss McMillan with Amazon voucher prizes. We know many of you were very pleased to receive those. So keep sending in your work, keep putting your effort in, and you will gain those prizes. In the purple box is a structure for you to follow in the mornings. Miss Downey's assembly, then current affairs on a Tuesday, this assembly on a Wednesday. Hopefully you're watching it on Wednesday morning. The quiz from Mr. Trendle, and then PSHE, which will be sent round on Fridays by Mr. Mack. So how are we keeping track of the work you send in? Well, teachers are giving positive points for any really good work that's being sent in, and if you're sending in a little bit of work but not much effort, then no points are being given. And if you're not submitting any work, then you're gaining a insufficient classwork point. Now that all gets put onto a spreadsheet, which myself and your tutors have access to, and then we are looking at students who are gaining red, which is not submitting work more than twice. So these students here in this particular tutor group, names hidden for privacy of course, they will be receiving phone calls this week to ask why they're not submitting work. Now everyone's been able to reply to emails, everyone's been spoken to by tutors, so we know that there are no real reasons why you can't send something into each teacher. So it's very important, guys, because when we go back to school, you know, that record will be there, and it's important that we know that you've tried your best. We're not saying that you need to do as much work as you would in class. That's impossible. We're not there. What we do want is something, and we need you to make some effort at least throughout the week to stay on top of the work. Otherwise you will fall behind. It's very important that we don't allow that to happen. So those on the screen here are the ones who this week did an awesome job. I'm not going to read them all out because it will take too long, but if you see your name up there, then well done. Those names are going to Miss Macmillan for the draw for the Amazon voucher and any other shout outs that come out this week. So very well done to you. Okay, so we're going to go through a Lucky 7 quiz now. So question number 1, which colour is Turing House? What colour is Turing House? Number 2, who was head of Brunel House before Mr. A took over? Number 3, who was head of McQueen before Miss Buffrey took over? Number 4, how many sides are there in a decahedron? Bit of a maths question. 5, if you started saving and you had £1 and you saved double your amount each following day, how much would you have in 1 week? So I'll give you a quick clue. So if you start saving on a Monday, on Tuesday you're going to save double that, aren't you? So you save £2, but you have to add that to your previous pound. So actually on Tuesday you'd have 3. Okay? So work it out. And I want to know after 1 week how much money you'd have, and you'd be surprised, it's a lot. Okay, number 6, which dinosaur was bigger, a velociraptor or a stegosaurus? And 7, what was the name of Ark Putney Academy before it became Ark Putney Academy? Ask your parents and carers, they might know. Okay, finally guys, just another thing, if you need to talk to someone through this national situation, there's Samaritans and there's Childlines. Please make use of those numbers if you're feeling down, and my email is always there. Your tutors are always there to speak to you if you need a bit of a boost during this difficult time. So finally, from all of us again, same message as always: stay happy, stay safe and take care.